Running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at computeramerica.com. Keep it news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman. My co-host, Ben, I don't know. He had a late day at school, and he's not here. But that's okay. I'm sure he'll be joining us later on. But we have a great show planned for you tonight here. In hour two, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And let's see, what else? Of course, we had our big Logitech contest last night, and we had our three big winners. And again, congratulations. They were all over. We had one in Hawaii, and we had another one. We had one in North Carolina. Who knew? You know. So, but they've all, I believe, at this point, have been notified. If not, they will shortly be notified. They got some great prizes, and so congratulations to all of you here. And from us here at Computer America and from our good friends over at Logitech. So congratulations. And of course, our new contest page is up and running, and we've added something new. We've made it even simpler for you to enter into our contests. We put a form, a registration form. Rather than you having to email us, we just put an entry form right there. You just fill it out, click the submit button, and you're golden. So that's all up in place, and so far it's working great. We're getting thousands of entries already, and the contest just started yesterday, so it's obviously working extremely well. And so let's see, what else to talk about. Anything else? Normally Ben and I talk and we have a little show banter to begin with, but so I'm bantering with myself. Wasn't the name of the song, Banter with Myself? I know it was that. Anyhow, we're going to be starting shortly. Now, I think let's just get started. And I'm very excited about our guest tonight. Now, think about this for a moment. As you probably know this, or at the very least you can certainly understand, that scheduling a time for a meeting or any other appointment with a group of people can be a frustrating and time-consuming process. You know, you call up one and you have them set, and then you call up a second person, and well, they're busy at that time, and so you have to find, and that's just for two people. Can you imagine if you're 3 or 4 people trying to organize them? It could be near impossible. But you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. Doodle radically simplifies the process of scheduling events, whether they're board or team meetings, dinners with friends, reunions, weekend trips, or anything else. Doodle offers a wide selection of online solutions that radically simplify the process of scheduling appointments, ranging from the group event poll that doesn't require registration to the professional booking service. Now here with us, Skyping in from Zurich to explain in more detail, is Michael Brecht. Michael is the CEO of Doodle. Michael, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thanks very much, Craig, and good evening to you and all your listeners.
Oh, absolutely, and we're so pleased to have you here. So, Zurich, what time? What time is it where you are right now?
Talk to me about timing. Yeah, it is about 3 o'clock in the morning, so it's an early morning start.
Well, you see, if you're like, I'm a night person. You know, I'm a late night person. I don't usually get to bed till like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know, after we do the show, we have things to do. So, for me, that's normal. But for the average person, correctly, who gets up at 8 or 9 in the morning, this can be kind of it can be a little daunting. But I'm very appreciative of the fact that you're here with us and to talk about Doodle. And let me first say and be the first to congratulate you on winning our Computer America Top Tech Award. Congratulations to that. See, the crowd goes wild.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Yes, I mean, we have quite a number of companies with software and hardware submitting the Top Tech, and they are few and far between. But I was so impressed with what Doodle had to offer and how it works. I mean, this is something that I believe is a necessary function. Being a talk show host, you know, I have an associate producer, I have a producer, I have an executive producer. These are all people, their jobs, part of their jobs is coordinating different people to come on our show and getting them together and finding the proper times, and that is a big deal. And for the past 25 years that I've been doing the show, scheduling people is an enormous job. So I can be particularly appreciative of the fact that you have come up with a way that makes scheduling multiple people all to meet at the same time, finding that golden time that they can all meet at once, and make that process really simplified. So we issued you our Computer America Top Tech Award in recognition of what you've accomplished with Doodle.
Well, thanks very much, and I appreciate you talking about yourselves being a user, because I guess at the end of the day there are thousands of what we call use cases or ideas where to use Doodle, and I'd be very happy to explain a little bit tonight of what we see with our customers around the world using it, because we have about 22, 23 million users currently using it per month. So yes, there are quite a few people, and our growth, especially in the US, is phenomenal at the moment. So happy to talk a little bit about where to use it and how to use it.
Right now, this started off as in Europe. Doodle actually was born or created into the European market, and I know you've been refining it. When did Doodle actually come about? When did you launch Doodle?
Well, I'm not the founder myself. I started to join Doodle, or join Doodle at the beginning of this year.
Right.
Initially in 2008, two Swiss engineers from university here in Zurich started with the idea saying that there must be an easier way to actually get 3 or more people around one table or into a meeting room than using emails or phone calls or all of that to and fro between different systems. And with the ease of one tool that would help everyone to see who would be available, and just make that on basically 3 clicks as a tool. So 2008 was really the starting point, and we've seen some enormous growth in the last years, in particular because people who have used it once fell in love with the idea. So the birth, as you called it before, was actually is actually a good term, because it's really a pleasure to use Doodle once you've seen it once. And so what we call viral growth in web talk helped the product enormously to spread out and therefore be a global product today.
Yes, and how it works and everything, but it's almost intuitive. What you see and how it works, and getting people together and making it work is almost, you really don't have to open up an instruction manual to use Doodle, is what I'm saying. It's very intuitive, very simple, and it gets the job done, which is one of the things that I found so impressive.
It is a 3-step approach. Firstly, you basically go on doodle.com, decide which dates you want to pick. Say you take 3 different dates for a weekend dinner party that you're trying to organize with a few friends. And invite those 3, 4, 5, 6 friends that you want to get around the table, and send this Doodle off to those friends, and then decide in the final date. Once you've received answers, or once everybody can see and has plugged in the numbers and availabilities that they have. It's really no rocket science. It's a very simple, very clever, very easy to use application.
But so many things in life really are like that. They're so simple and easy. I mean, look at the paperclip. I mean, it's a little piece of simple thing, but look what it does. And although the idea and the concept of Doodle is so simple, I realized that it took a lot of work, as you mentioned, these 2 gentlemen who came together with this knowledgeable background to form and create something like Doodle. But now that it's here, I encourage all of you to go to doodle.com and see it for yourself. If you have, and I don't care if you're a soccer mom, you know, or organizing a PTA meeting, or just want to have friends over for a group, whatever it is. You can be the CEO of a company. You can be, just whatever. If you have a need to bring a group of people, and I guess anything over 2 people or more is considered a group, really, because you know how difficult it can be to kind of find a time that agrees with everybody. Using something like Doodle is going to make your life incredibly easier to deal with. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, we have all these computers and things that are supposed to make our life easier, and in many ways they do, but sometimes they make our lives more complex. But this is a perfect example of how a simple little application can really make your organizational skills, bringing people together for whatever purpose, and do it so simply and easy. When you go there, you'll check it out for yourself. And again, just go to doodle.com, doodle.com. You can go to our Computer America page too, and if you go to our on the homepage there's a show notes button. Just click that, and you'll see today's show, which is October the 28th, and you'll see today's program, and you'll see the description. And Doodle, there's a link right there. So Doodle is the hyperlink. You just click on it, it'll take you right to the Doodle website. And it's that simple. That just stays up forever, so you can try it for yourself. So I want to talk about some of the use cases with Doodle. I know we have literally millions of people using Doodle and doing it effectively. And I know one of the things we talked about even before you came on the show was to talk about some use cases of how people are using Doodle to simplify their lives. And if you could give us some examples, I'd certainly love to hear them.
Well, firstly, I'd like to mention that we have 2 versions that are live. The first one is the free version that you see and that you can enter. So it doesn't cost you anything to do that Doodle, and we're refinancing that basically through advertisement on the platform. It's an easy process which includes most of the scheduling functionalities that are necessary to effectively organize that meeting of 2 or more people. And that's the Doodle free version.
Right.
And referring back to the award that we've received with you, again, thanks very much for that. The award was particularly given to the premium version that we've launched.
Yes.
So I'm happy to talk about premium probably a bit later. Let's start with a few use cases. I mean, we have a wide spread of users using it either for the private use or for the business use. And it's quite amazing to see where it starts getting used. I mean, we've talked about dinner parties. Let's take an example here that is probably quite appropriate for the end of the year. I mean, trying to organize a Christmas party for your company or for your business or for your friends that are in the same soccer team or in the basketball team can be a nightmare. So that is a very good use case to say, well, hang on, there are 4 or 5 different dates that we can try to imagine having that dinner party together, that Christmas party together. So let's put those 4 or 5 dates into a Doodle and then ask everyone what would be the best day to participate in such a Christmas party. So this is a use case that we can see with many private gatherings, but also obviously business gatherings. So if you have a small or medium-sized business with 6-7 employees, here you go. This is the solution for this year's Christmas party.
Now, of course, you can be a little strong-armed the business. You say, this is when the party's going to be, and you have to be here. You can get away with that a little bit, but of course, you want to try to be accommodating, I would assume.
I would agree to that, and also I think that in these days with the socialization of many of the items of our daily lives, our social approach towards when would be the best meeting for all of us would be good. I mean, at the end of the day, one needs to make the decision when the date will be, but at least we could then pick the date that most of the people that we want to have around the dinner table would be able to participate. So the organizer or initiator at the end still makes the call, but he or she has a better overview about who would be able to participate in such a final day. So that's a use case that we can see coming up quite substantially at the moment, and that's both private and business, obviously. we have many people that use Doodle in the educational field. So these would be parent-teacher talks, professors in universities or schools talking to their students or organizing lessons or specific calls about topics that they need to spread in their communities. And the good news about this is that we have an education special on the premium side that we can talk about a little bit later, which gives a discount of 50% to those organizations or institutions.
All right.
Yeah. So the educational field seems to be working quite well, and that starts in kindergartens, where kindergarten teachers try to get all the parents around a table in an evening, in a week, or in a month to talk about progress in the kindergarten with their children.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not necessarily something which is applicable only to universities, but it can start in kindergarten as well. We have enormous amounts of people using it to organize their business meetings, whether that would be to get all the salespeople around the table or into a Google Hangout or Skype conference.
Sure.
These are tools that will really effectively help you in your organization to either internally or with your clients schedule appointments. And that could mean to say, well, listen, I'm a web designer somewhere out in Canada, and I would like to speak to my American clients about new parts that we needed to integrate into the website, new designs, etc. And therefore, this web designer could then use Doodle, and we have many thousands of cases every day, to actually organize these events with their clients.
So, very nice. So these are just some typical use cases. Now, is this is all with the standard Doodle, or is this with the premium version that we're talking about?
Well, initially that was all with the standard Doodle, because you can do that while just typing in doodle.com, and here you go. So you can start immediately. Now, in particular for the business segment, we've then come up with some ideas of, say, how can we make Doodle even more convenient in the business arena? And there are a few topics that are interesting for business people. I'll give you a few examples.
Sure.
The premium solution helps you, and it actually costs $39, or it starts costing $39 per year. So I always call that less than a cup of coffee a month.
Yeah.
And it has a few functionalities that are quite nice. For example, let's imagine you have finally picked an appointment date for all your business contacts to join you, say, tomorrow evening at 10 o'clock. To actually then, with the pressing of one button, to export that date into your calendar is an ease that helps you or saves you from typing all those names on again and typing location and all of this stuff into your own diary. With Doodle, you just press on one button and have that in your calendar. So with all the names and all the specific requirements of that date. An integrated version into your calendar. Yeah.
Right. When you say calendar, can you be a little more specific? What kind of calendar are you talking about? A Google Calendar? You're talking about an iPhone calendar? And how does it integrate with that calendar?
Well, you've mentioned two that are working fine. We've got the Microsoft world as well. We have tried to come up with a wide spread of calendars that are out there, and Google and iCal are probably the top two used at the moment. It's very simple. Again, we're not trying to be too complicated with that. So we'll guide you through that phase of how to integrate that into your calendar yourself. And there are lots of help solutions on the site to help you set that up. And at the end of the day, when you finally pick that date, it's just a one-click to export that into your calendar.
That's got to be amazingly helpful. I mean, to have that kind of integration with something that you carry around with you or that you use, so you don't have to double your work. In other words, I have to enter it in Doodle, now I have to enter it in my calendar, or I have to, in other words, it's basically one place that's centralized and everything else gets synchronized
Yes.
together, which has got to be enormously helpful, I would
Yeah.
think.
Well, I think it's probably one of the main features that I would see the most useful ones. On the other hand, some other people say, well, Michael, the use case of you having many people to invite makes it quite complicated to then look after those that are not or haven't participated. Let's take an example. You're trying to schedule an event with, say, 40 people. And unfortunately, and that is not a German, a Swiss, or an American phenomenon. This is a global phenomenon. There are always 3 or 4 that do not participate in those requests to fill out potential appointment dates. Yeah, that this is the human the human nature that brings that up. Now, if you have 40 of them in one doodle to come up with an answer. You probably have 35 after a specific period of time, or 36 of them answering, and we've made it easy for you to then discover the 4 or 5 that haven't answered yet. So you can send out automatic reminders to the ones that are missing, or see on one click again who is missing in that call to make your life easier. That's also a premium functionality, which saves a lot of time as well.
Well, I mean, it boggles the mind. I mean, people are doing it every time, but it's hard enough with 2 or 3 people. But you imagine if you're trying to bring 35 people and trying to coordinate their schedules and everything they can all meet at this one time for a particular period of time, for 15 minutes or half an hour. I mean, without something like Doodle, you kind of wonder, how do they do it before?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is going back to our kindergarten example. Yeah, let's try to get 35 parents of your kindergarten children under one roof at the same time. I'm sure you will find the one or the other who's not answering in the initial call. So this is used in useful for doodles that are aimed towards large groups. And let's not forget, we have groups of sizes of 200, 300, 400 people. The differences in countries. In the United States, we probably have an average participation of between, say, 10 and 12 users in a doodle. In Germany, that's almost 20 now. So I'm just picking those 2 examples because they are telling us that there are different use cases, probably more towards the business end in the United States, but probably more towards the private end in Europe at the moment. And then there's one thing that I love myself about Doodle, probably the most. This is a private thing for me. It's the custom design. I'm really a visual person, so I love seeing what's happening. And in a premium version, you actually can integrate your own logo or your own background of your own website. So once you've set that up, you can actually display doodles or schedule meetings, and it looks almost as if it is your own website that you're using. Now imagine again, we have a web designer based somewhere, and he or she wants to talk to their clients. Now, if you use Doodle in the premium solution and send it off with your own logo and your own photographic background, that allows someone as your clients to immediately think, oh yeah, that's my web designer asking for that call. Some people don't even realize that it's happening on Doodle and not on your own website. So this is the custom design which helps you, and with that custom design comes the idea that the premium Doodle solution is ads free, so you don't have advertisement in that.
Okay, that is nice. So in other words, are there ads then in the free version of a Doodle?
Yeah, we try to be as minimalistic as we can be, so we try to not overload it. But we do provide ads to our clients. Again, advertisement myself, I love advertisement again because we make it happen for you or for all our users to have advertisements that are useful. So if you're, for example, traveling to Los Angeles and you're flying out, you will most likely within that doodle see something which is useful for you. That could be a hotel that would be suitable, or some some advisories around the trip. So some advice around the trip. So there's we try to make advertisement as useful as possible to our clients.
Something relevant that
Yes.
people might be able to actually use, which is nice. Okay, so that is nice. When you get the premium version, though, the ads go away. Is that correct?
It does, yes.
Okay. Well, and that's typical of what you find. I mean that's normal, and certainly I would think acceptable. Most applications that are free will have some sort of advertising. I mean, be advertising driven. But when you pay for a subscription, then there's no reason to see the ads anymore, and which is fine. And I think that works out really well for most people. So let's get back to some of the use cases where we're talking about with and why premium is so important. I mean, typically your average mom or a soccer mom or something might not need a premium version. How do you determine whether the free version is going to do everything I really need, or if I really need the premium version, Michael?
Back to the soccer mom, I guess. Soccer moms really, or the soccer moms probably don't need the graphic solutions that they might that a business client might use. Mm-hmm. However, it might be nice for $39 per year to see the soccer team in the background. So for such that might be a nice visual add-on for the whole team to see. Look here that we connect a display on the site. I guess for soccer moms, the calendar integration is the main feature because it will help you with your 10 away games and 10 home games if you have them to be able to be exported in your calendar immediately. So that's a nice one, I think. Also, those automatic reminders saying, well, who's going to take the shirts home because they need to be washed after the game in the mud would probably a nice one to be sent out automatically to all those other different mums that are in that group. So I guess there are a few features that would help the soccer mum too.
Yeah.
However, it is most likely a business case in the background that would use the premium functionality. And so, but no, I know soccer moms who use the premium solution because they love it. Yeah, so there's that element too. Business users really love the idea that they can send something out which really looks almost like their own website. The larger participation numbers are 35 up to 200 users participating in a Doodle, the more easy these kinds of see who is missing or automatic reminders are, and it makes it convenient for those people. And we are actually working on a few other features that will help that premium element as well for business people, but these will probably pop up early next year. We needed this year to straighten up a few things. I've just started in February as the new CEO and allowed myself as the new kid on the block to ask a few questions, and we've changed a few bits and pieces already. So there's a few more, in particular, premium features to come early next year.
We have some interesting questions that are popping up in the chat room, and one of our listeners, he wanted to know about if there are any features that would help gamers, get together. People play like these MMO games and such. World of Warcraft. Sometimes scheduling or organizing. Do you see them being able to use Doodle to help them?
It's a very good point. I mean, at the end of the day, gamers are no longer talking about using that game or playing that game in the same living room, sitting next to each other, but we're really talking about a global gaming community here. So these guys or girls might be sitting at the same time in Boston and Los Angeles, or even internationally somewhere in Asia or Europe. So to organize a game between two or more people, I mean, that's what Doodle is for. And we have a huge surge of gamers actually using Doodle these days. And I love the idea that we actually can help these guys to come together, because one of those global organizations.
I'll tell you what, we're at the bottom of the hour, Michael. Okay. Let's continue on with that. But we have to take a quick break. We have some commercials, you say. Some ads.
That's good.
And
okay.
And then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, the Blog Talk Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. Doodle is our guest for this hour. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Good evening. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TechSling technology holsters. Now, how do you carry your gear? Is it in a backpack or your pockets, messenger bag, or a purse, or a merce? Sling, it puts fairly flat, padded pouches on either side of your torso using a strap arrangement that we're with shoulders. For people who need tablets and handsets and other paraphernalia always with them, which, for example, isn't enforcement or other professions, it's a handy and unobtrusive way to tote it all. It also makes sense for travel. iPad, for example. They also sent the TechSling Sport, not water repellent, but instead breathable and able to fit slightly larger tablets and gear. So bottom line, TechSling and TechSling Sport body-side holsters give you both protection and quick draw access to your gear. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Our guest this hour is Doodle. Michael Brecht, the CEO of Doodle, is here with us, Skyping in from Zurich, Switzerland, to explain what this is and how it can help you. If you have a comment or a suggestion, we'd love to accommodate you. Just go into our Computer America chat room. That's the easiest way to do. Just go to our chat room. You can do that just by going to our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see our chat and live video page. On the left-hand side there, you'll see the live IRC chat room. When you click on the button, you'll see it says nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. There's a captcha code, it's a number or a couple of words that just assures that you're not a bot and you're a live person. Click the connect button, and you are in. And also on that same page, there's our live Computer America streaming video where you can see myself, my co-host Ben, and our guests. So you not only can hear the show, but you can actually watch the Computer America show. And of course, all of this, the audio is available archives. All of our shows are up at the Blog Talk Radio Network. It's also on Apple's iTunes. The keyword is Computer America, or just go to our archives at the top of our homepage there, and it'll show you. It'll has all the links. It'll take you right to the Apple iTunes page where you can download or listen to. You subscribe to the podcast, it'll download it to your computer automatically. One of the nice things about podcasts. But all the different ways you can interact with Computer America is at our Computer America website, and we encourage you to go there. So in the meantime, correct, and we're talking about right now Doodle Premium. I understand if you're in the educational field that you actually offer a substantial discount for people. Can you tell us for the Doodle Premium? You're muted for some reason, Michael. We can't hear you. I'm not hearing you, Michael. Could be, not sure. Yeah. Does your headset have a mute button that you might have hit on the wire there or something? No, you know. Listen. Okay. Not sure what's going on there. Let's just make sure near nope. Here it's nothing here on our end. Well, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do, Michael. Is what you can do is you can why don't you just disconnect from there? Just hit the and then use the link to come back into the show. Okay, and we'll see what's up. In the meantime, let's just tell you a little bit about our contest while Michael comes back here. If you go to the Computer America website and you go to our contest page, we've added something new to our Logitech contest. Rather than having to send an email, you used to have to send an email with your name and address and to contest@computeramerica.com. Our webmaster has been on the job, and now we have a Logitech contest entry form. So you just go right in and just fill in the form and you're fine. Michael, are you there? Okay, no, you're muted. Something on your equipment. Yeah. Could you just check to see if the connection is somehow to your computer? Because it was working fine before. Everything was fine. Maybe no, we're not hearing you, and we have it open. Oh, there it is. I hear you now. Yeah. Okay. What's so?
Okay, we're going for that backup solution now.
Okay. Something went wrong. It's your headset. Something went wrong with your headset. You know, and these things happen. Okay, so go ahead and use. I guess you're using the built-in microphone, but that's fine. Go ahead, because it's very quiet where you are.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to speak up a bit, and hopefully you can hear me fine now. Your question was around the educational topic, because we actually found out that universities and schools have started using Doodle quite substantially. And so we came up with the idea of saying, why don't we incentivize the idea of having Doodle to be used in those educational fields? And so we actually provide the premium solution with a 50% discount. So whatever you come up with as a university or as a school, and you have an idea of saying, well, we would like to use the premium solution, including our own branding and all those functionalities that we've described before, contact us. It's actually on the website itself. Click on the button and contact us, and then we'll sort that out for you. So it halves your costs, and that can be substantial. Imagine you have 1,000 users participating. You're saving quite a few $100 in that year, and that's the idea behind it.
That is a nice. So we have a caller who is in Dallas, Texas, evidently, and has a question for you. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hey, Dallas, what can we do for you?
Oh, I just had a simple computer question. Is it the right time to ask it, or you want to continue with your guest?
Yeah, I think we'll continue with our guest, but why don't you call back in hour 2, and we can certainly help you. Okay. All right. Thank you for calling. Yes, the thing is, if you have a comment or a question for our guest in this first hour, we would prefer that your questions go for a guest. 347-884-8881, by the way, is the number to call if you have a question for a guest. general questions we take in the second hour of the show when we do our computer news. All right, so the educational discount, 50%, that really adds up to a lot of money, I would think.
It does, and also it helps many new users to understand how to use it, because the use case in an educational field is substantial. I mean, I was talking about professors talking to their students as one example, but it could be in organizing for the secretariat of the professor to organize meetings with the professor in his educational field, so with other professors, etc. So there are heaps of use cases for the educational field, and we are aiming to support that environment and help understand how Doodle works and how to become more efficient in scheduling those appointments.
All right. Now, before the break, we were also talking and trying to answer the question about gamers, and we started talking and we hit the break. So let's get back to that. How gamers can use Doodle to organize their meetings together.
Yeah, again, I was trying to come up with an idea of what would be the potential example. I mean, at the end of the day, 20 years ago, gamers were sitting in the same room on the same sofa, right, trying to compete. These days, this is no longer the same sofa with the same room, but this can be, these will be two rooms either across the states, say East Coast, West Coast, but that can also be someone sitting in Asia or Europe playing with you, and there could be several players. And in order to organize that, that can be a substantial potential nightmare, because not only that we have to get several people under into one appointment, but also there are time zones that are interesting, because now that we had some time changes, including summertime, winter times, etc., we have so many time zones across the world, and how do you want to keep track with that? So with Doodle, it's quite simple, because with the inbuilt functionality of having time zones that come up, you actually get the right time zone to someone who's, say, based in Korea or someone who's based in India, to see the right time zone when they open up a Doodle at their place. And that is a nice feature, because it allows you to then really make sure that you all meet at the same time, whether you play a game or whether you have a business. This is an enormous aid or help. Yeah.
I would think so. That's an automatic process. So basically, whatever time zone I'm in, if I'm organizing it, does Doodle automatically do the calculation if they're in France or wherever they may be? Does Doodle automatically adjust so we're all so if I'm looking for a meeting at 10 a.m. in the morning for me, it might be like 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Europe. Will Doodle automatically take that into account, I guess?
That's exactly it, yeah. It's quite a complicated approach, and I think it took the guys who invented Doodle a few years ago through a few headaches to get that done. But say last week, for example, the Europeans changed back for 1 hour, so we had one more hour's sleep. To change that in a system, and that is only one change, because not everybody changes at the same time, is quite a complicated approach. And for Doodle users, that is life made easy, because the time zones are actually built in those Doodles.
Well, that as you know, even here in the United States, there are some places, some states that don't recognize, let's say, daylight savings time, and so everybody else shifts ahead or shifts back, but they don't. So that instead of being 3 hours behind, they're only 2 hours. They're like out of whack with everybody because they don't recognize it. And that could be a logistics nightmare for anybody trying to coordinate. The people will join the meeting and they're an hour late or they're an hour early. You don't want that. So with Doodle, that takes that into account.
Yes, it does. And again, coming back to those gamers, I guess it's helpful if you know that you're all starting at the same time, whether you're playing in Korea or in Germany or Switzerland or the United States. It's a nice functionality, and it helps a lot to get organized and be at the same time with your mates trying to play.
Right. No, it's certainly a big help, and because as you say, because when you're playing games, you're no longer in the same room. You're meeting with people all over the world. That's one of the attractions of how gaming, what gaming does.
Yeah.
And certainly to bring everybody together and all at the same time and all. I mean, that's just wonderful. Now I do know some games try to accommodate when you're trying to find people, but for the most part, they really don't do that. You need something like Doodle, which is designed from the ground up to do that scheduling and that organization. What can you kind of describe a little bit? I know your system is done. I was going to ask you to do a screen share with us tonight, but maybe we'll have you back and we can do a screen share next time. But can you just kind of describe for our listeners what people typically see when they look at the Doodle? They see some sort of a grid in front of with little check marks. On the top is the time. To the left of the people's names. I mean, how does that work? Can you kind of describe it for us visually, what it's like?
Yeah, pleasure. Basically, and this is the same whether you do a premium Doodle or an open one, yeah, because the system or the process is always the same, and we try to keep it as simple as possible. Mm-hmm. The first step is always to generally type in a title for the meeting. If you have a location that you want to have in there, say for the dinner party or for getting those soccer mums together, you put the location in. You can put a little description in, and you have your email address in there. These very simple text boxes can be filled out, and once you've done that, the second step is then to come up with your own time proposals, and in that you have a few or various possibilities to display those and look at those. I quite like the idea that you have a calendar. When you're premium, you can have that calendar connected at that stage so that you can see whether you are really available at that time. Mm-hmm. So you can only suggest the ones that you really are available yourself. Mm-hmm. If you're not premium, you can at least punch in the dates that you suggest your friends to come up with, and then the next step is just to start inviting those people. So it's very straightforward. It's not rocket science, and it's always around your calendar or a view that shows you how those potential meeting or appointment times look like with your calendar. So.
Now the other thing is that one of the things that come up you can have, let's say, the person's name to the left, and then you can have the time at 12 to 2, 9:15 to 11:15, and you have these like little check boxes, and you can click on the times that you can make for the meeting. And there's even a box that says I cannot make it, so you can't make any of those times. But in other words, you're presented with a number of them, and then what Doodle takes all those and kind of puts them in a grid, so you can see which times most agree to be at that particular time that it works for them. Correct?
That is correct, and it's quite a nice, quite neat feature, because it helps you to say yes, I can. You can even allow people to say whether it would potentially possible to participate, and then you have also a pretty straightforward setup which says on a specific day you can have a few time slots, but then you can add other days to it as well. So even while organizing your Doodle or while getting those appointments organized, you can at that stage already play around with it. So even if you're not really sure, you can add certain time slots, and it really should help you to get your schedules kind of organized for yourself, if you say.
Right. Yes, I understand. Another question in the chat room. He wants to know if it could, be used if you want to organize a flash mob.
Is that a positive or a negative connotation?
I think it was a positive. You know, you want to get a flash mobs when you want to get a group of people together at a particular public area to do something. And now of course, that's a little bit more general. But I guess if you have some specific people that you know that enjoy going to flash mobs, and you just want to a time with them, I don't see why you couldn't use something like Doodle to do that.
Well, there's two ways that you can look at it. I give you those two examples. Number one is if you know all the people that will participate, you enter them in the Doodle, and that's it. Yeah, and it's very straightforward with those people. Let's take an example. When we had the Soccer World Cup in Brazil on, many thousands of our clients were actually organizing to meet, for example, in a public viewing arena, or on the street to actually watch that football game together or that soccer game together. So this is when people know each other.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know them, at the end of the Doodle, you have a link for that Doodle that you can then copy and send out yourself, for example, to your Facebook group or within a WhatsApp environment or so. So you're not necessarily bound to actually stick to Doodle while inviting people, but you can place that link, for example, into your Facebook follower group or so. So it's not tied to stay within Doodle, but we're open to actually make that part of your other social environments. And coming back to that flash mob idea, or you have a flash mob Facebook group that you would use for that, or that has been used before, and probably a Doodle would be a good one to actually add on as the scheduling facility within that.
Yeah. Another question in the chat room. He wants to know, how about for fantasy football meetings? And he wants to know, in Europe, do they have fantasy soccer meetings in Europe? And could you use Doodle to organize something like that? I would think of fantasy football, certainly. I mean, with that, you kind of know the participants in that type of thing. Usually that's done at the office or something along those lines.
Yeah, it is. I personally use it, for example, with my mates here in their time in my private hometown to actually play soccer on the weekends, and we have a list with potentially 30 people taking part, and then we know of those 30, probably those 15 are turning up, or 16 are turning up. So we play 8-a-side or something. So yes, you can use it for all these private use cases as well as the business cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. That would certainly would do it. Okay, so now the other thing I wanted you to talk a little bit about is something called Meet Me. What is Meet Me?
Well, Meet Me is a part of Doodle, and Meet Me itself is aimed to actually see and display whether you as a person are available for certain times or not. Let's take an example. If you go on doodle.com and type in doodle.com/Michael Brecht, you will see the availability, or say when I'm available or when I'm not available. Now, it's obviously not saying that I'm talking to you at this specific period of time, but it's saying that I'm usually not available at that part of time because I'm currently on your show.
Yeah, it says you're busy.
Yeah, well, usually I'm sleeping at that part of the time.
Okay, well, sleeping. Okay.
Well, it doesn't say I'm sleeping, but it says I'm busy.
It says you're busy. Yes. Okay.
With these neutralized comments of saying when I'm busy, you can also interpret that at specific times I'm available. Now, what does that help other people? If someone wants to have an appointment with me during the day, normally, they would then be able to say, well, I'm gonna do a Doodle with Michael, and I'm gonna send him 3 or 4 different potential meeting or appointment times. But these people can actually look when I'm free, and that makes life for both of us much easier. They will only recommend the meeting times when they are available and see that I'm available too, and I find it much easier to get only appointment requests that really fit my diary. Now, it doesn't mean that my diary is actual and punctual all the time, but with 3 or 4 different versions or requests coming in, I can usually pick one of those that are coming in. So it saves my time as well. I have several 100,000 Meet Me profiles live, and it was just a couple of years ago without really focusing on what to do with it. So this Meet Me environment is something I want to focus on next year. And make it even more professional for business people to use, because I see enormous time savings with that. I'm using it quite substantially with all my business clients and make them aware that it would be best to contact me through my Meet Me profile. Mm-hmm. And it's just simple to use, and it saves me a lot of time.
Right. I'm looking at, for example, right now it says Michael Brecht is busy, and it says 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's grayed out. You can see it. It's showing the current day is Tuesday, the 28th, and so it's very easy to look at it. But and it's not telling me that you are, let's say, it says time zone, Eastern time. So if I want to change that, I guess I have the ability to change that. But in case I want to see, well, what time, where are you located? I mean, do I need to know that you're in Zurich? I mean, is there some way for it to let me know that you're in some other part of the world? How would I do that?
Well, you basically see the availabilities from your current position. Uh-huh. Whereas if I open up my Meet Me profile, I do see them with my Zurich times.
Ah, okay.
So whatever you see as availability is actually something that suits your own view.
Got it, right.
However, it will come across as something that is applicable to my time zone, my timing.
Which
when
makes
I originally that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, I don't really want to know what time it is wherever you are. I just want to know what time it is where I am, and know that you can make it at my time, because that's the most important thing. We only have a couple minutes left, Michael. Time flies when you're having fun. I mean, do you have a mobile version, or that in the works, or that you can use for Doodle, or can they just access the Doodle website with their smartphones?
Craig, we have 2 things. Number one, we have a mobile solution which you can type in, but we also have 2 apps, an Android and an iOS app.
Excellent.
And they're working fine. We're currently in the stages of improving those, and again, this will be something we will launch next year. Because again, we have a few ideas of how to make that even easier, and with the screen sizes going up in terms of suppliers, for example, let's take Apple, who have just launched the iOS or their new screens. It makes life even more easy with those scheduling facilities on there. And I personally believe that 2015 will be the year for our apps to actually take this scheduling, or the ease of scheduling, out in the street. Not necessarily having to sit in front of your desktop, but also to take those scheduling tool with you, and therefore schedule your appointments whenever you are out and meet someone, or want to meet someone. So yes, there are apps. There's a mobile solution as well, but the core product today is really the desktop. So let's see what next year will bring up with 2 fantastic new apps coming out.
Excellent. Well, Michael, again, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight on the show. It was a pleasure having you. And again, congratulations to you and to Doodle for winning our Computer America Top Tech Award. I suggest all of you to check out Doodle.com. It's free. You can try it, and if you think that you need the premium version, I guess it's $39 a year. It's about a cup of coffee. It's really inexpensive. And if you're doing any kind of scheduling or organizing, you really need to get something like Doodle in your toolbox to make your life a lot more simple. Michael, I guess you can go back to sleep now. And again, thank you so much for being here. And let's have you back again. All right, love to do that. Looking forward to having you back again. I'm sorry to keep you up at night, but hey, it's worth it. Really, letting people know.
Greg, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and this is not about being up or not. As you know, my Meet Me schedule already shows when I'm available or not. And no, I might actually go for a run now and to the Zurich Lake and just enjoy the early morning time here. So thanks very much for having us, and it's really been a pleasure talking to you, Craig, again.
And we will see you again soon, okay, Michael? Thank you so much for being here with us on Computer America. Have a great morning.
Thanks very much. Have a good night, America.
Right. Bye-bye. All right, there you go, Doodle.com. And again, you can check them out at our website at ComputerAmerica.com. Coming up in hour 2, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We're just going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Computer America on Blog Talk Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network, and the Boost Radio Network.
Broadcasting computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nationally syndicated talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman. We've got Ben is not here. We don't know where he is, but we've got my other son co-hosting. He's filling in, Aaron Crossman. Hey, Aaron, welcome into the second hour of the show.
What's up? Hey, I'm just finishing the configuration of my hardware here.
Okay, well, you're doing fine. You sound good. Anyway, if you've just joined, as I said, we just had Doodle.com. We had Michael Brecht, the CEO of Doodle, calling in from Skyping in from Zurich, Switzerland. About 3. It was 3. It's now 4 in the morning for him. And yeah, and if you missed any portion of our show, you can certainly listen. We archive all of our shows at ComputerAmerica.com. Just go to our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com. Right there at the top of the screen, you'll see the archives. And just click on that. It'll take you to our archives page. You can listen to the archives at Blog Talk Radio. You just click on the Blog Talk Radio logo there. Or we even have an RSS feed that tells you what the show's about. We also have linked to the audio archives on iTunes, so you can actually listen to the show in your web browser, because it'll do that, or you can actually launch. There's even a button there that lets you launch iTunes, and then you can listen to our shows on iTunes. And of course, with iTunes, you can subscribe to the Computer America broadcast, and it'll automatically download the show to your computer, and then you can listen to it whenever you'd like. You know, especially if you have a slower downloading speed, you can just have it waiting for you on your computer. It's interesting, you know, in the olden days, that was really a nice thing because you could subscribe to the podcast or anything you want, and then, you know, and it would, let's say, it would take you 2 or 3 hours. Though in the morning, you know, you could just turn on your computer, everything was waiting for you. But in this day and age of broadband, that's really not quite that necessary anymore. If you have, you know, anything over, you know, 15 megabits per second, you can download the 2-hour show in a matter of a couple of minutes. So, and you can download.
Tell your friends, you know, hey, guess what I'm doing while downloading something? Talking on the phone.
That's
awesome. I love the modern world.
Yes, I do. I'm a part of it. Also, you can watch, you can watch the live Computer America video streaming. I told you how to do that. But also under our archives page, we archive all of our Computer America video shows, so you can watch those at your leisure as well. We have our own YouTube channel. And then we'll just click on the link there on our show archives page, and it'll take you to the appropriate spot so you can listen to and watch everything here. Anything that we do and everything we do at Computer America is reflected on our website. So it just makes things really simple to find. And that's it. Okay, anyway, we've got so we're going to do our computer and technology news. And Aaron, I know you're going to be joining me for the second hour of the show, and we've got some news stories that we've selected. So I think we'll start off and start doing.
I think you're going to like some of these.
All right, we'll start off with doing some news stories here.
All right.
Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, Kemosabe. You heard me. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website is completely free. They're not freemium, they're not crippled in any way, or or after 10 days you use it, then you have to pay for them. None of that. Everything at slimwareutilities.com is completely free. We use them here at the Crossman household. I suggest that you go to that website and download everything and keep them, even if you're not using them. Keep them in your toolbox. So when the time comes, because sooner or later it's going to happen, you're going to need them, and when you have them, you're going to be really thankful that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. Really, slimwareutilities.com. And in our first story here, this one is from the TechCrunch. The story leads as the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, is suing AT&T over quote-unquote unlimited data claims. So the story goes, this is written by Alex Wilhelm. This is a story that came out just about 8 hours ago. The FTC is suing AT&T for having misled, that's in quotes, millions of customers who purchased unlimited data plans for their phones, only to have AT&T later drastically reduce the amount of information they could access. In other words, they got throttled back.
Right.
Yeah. According to the FTC's complaint, AT&T throttled millions of customers. It sounds like they hit them somebody. They just throttled them harshly.
Yeah.
They throttled them.
How do they keep getting more?
Yeah, millions of customers
signing up for this.
Right. Tens of millions of times. Sometimes after the consumer had used a mere 2 gigabytes of data in the payment period. Wow. The throttling could reach as high as 80 or 90% in terms of speed reduction. In short, AT&T sold unlimited plans and whacked the living you-know-what out of them. Okay, really?
This is a problem that's been building for a couple of years now, I think.
Yeah, TechCrunch. It's like a lost leader. I mean, you sell some, but then you're selling them something, and then you're saying, okay, now that you bought it, you can't use it.
Well, it's something, they say, it's quote unlimited based on what the average user would use, and then the question is, well, how do you define the average user? The average user today streams videos all the time. They access YouTube. They access their email. They use Doodle from their phone, maybe, and they're using all these different services. Our lives are pretty like anything you could do on your computer, you can do through some of these smartphones that they sell these days. And people are eating what AT&T would consider your average user cap. And so they say after you hit a certain point, they start to throttle it down because they say, okay, well now you're just using it, and people have a legitimate complaint, in my opinion. They say, well, we're paying for unlimited, and this is a limit, so how can you say it's unlimited?
Yeah, Jonathan makes a good point. It's basically bait and switch. Sort of, he says it's like buying a fire hose and only getting a garden hose worth of water pressure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Behind throttling, they throttle you back.
Sure. Well, I think it's something else that's really interesting is this suit is coming from the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, and if you look it's interesting that this one department would say, hey, you can't throttle the internet, when in probably right down the hall, the FCC, I believe, is the one where they're talking about different tiered internet.
Yeah.
What's that plan they're talking about where they essentially want to create an internet fast lane for some of these providers.
High accuracy vehicle, yeah, exactly.
Right, and so that's probably right down the hall from these people. Others are saying, what, maybe we should throttle the internet for certain users, and I thought that was really interesting.
Well, there's always going to be somebody who abuses it, but you can't let that happen and ruin it for everybody. It's what they were claiming. They were saying, oh, well, that Bitcasa. I don't know if you know what Bitcasa is. That's a data service that was claiming unlimited storage. That was their big thing.
No.
And they about a year ago, that's how they came on there. They were offering unlimited storage. And it turned out that people were abusing it, and they were setting up servers and reselling the service. It was just horrible, and so basically, Bitcasa closed it down. I think on Monday, yesterday.
They shut down the service.
They shut down the service. They offered other things, but they shut down the unlimited portion, and they're restructuring everything. And because a few people were abusing it. Although on average, the report said that less than 1/10 of 1% of people had any more data that was over a terabyte. That was it. Yeah, and that's a lot of a terabyte's a lot of storage.
That is. That's a lot of information.
Yeah. And a lot of only 1/10 of 1% of people were actually using more than a terabyte. But the model actually was working well, but there were a few individuals that it up and they were making pseudo servers and they were reselling the service and basically they were ruining it for everybody else. But I think that's just that's the human condition. You set something up and somebody somewhere is going to abuse it.
Well, I think it's a little that must be a little pessimistic, I may say, Craig, because look at here's another news story.
Oh, you rose-colored glasses individual. Yes, okay. Go ahead.
I've been accused of that many times. Here's another news story. Also, it was posted yesterday even, where Microsoft is also getting into the unlimited storage service.
Big story is what we did yesterday. They actually we did a whole thing on that story. But go ahead. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so it's here. Basically, with Microsoft now has this Office 365, which allows you to sync all of your documents and files across all your computers to make it really easy for you to access everything. And they are, it says they're partnering with, I guess it's called Box, is the service, and I guess others, if not doing it themselves. I have to read a little further into the article, but they are offering unlimited storage. So.
Yeah. All right. Gone is the 1 terabyte cap that was recently introduced. Basically, if you pay for Office, your storage, unlimited storage now is free. Now it is just in the works. There's a link that if you go to the Microsoft website, you have to get your name on the list. If you already have an Office 365 and you have the 1 terabyte cap, you have to put your name up for because it's sort of still in beta. They're starting to do it. And you'll get the service. So you'll sort of get in line. If you're a new subscriber to Office 365, you'll get the unlimited immediately. But if you currently are a subscriber, you have them on the quote-unquote waiting list, and they say in a few days all of those will be addressed, and then that 1 terabyte cap will be taken off of your account.
I'm wondering if this is just a really smart semantical move. I mean, this is only for Office documents, Word documents, Excel files, PowerPoint presentations. The average person with a terabyte of data has usually got music files, video files, game backups, large files. Right. They might not allow you to sync some of these files to the Microsoft service because Microsoft doesn't have software that handles that.
And that's one of the reasons, that's an excellent point. That's one of the points we brought up, and that is the fact that Microsoft is going to be fairly safe that people aren't going to be abused.
Basic Word documents has got to be like.
But no, they offered you this like box. You can just drop anything in it. Mm-hmm. With Microsoft, it has to be Microsoft Office 365 files, which are Word documents, Excel documents, PowerPoint presentations, anything that is part of the Office 365 arena. And those documents don't take up a heck of a lot of space. They're very small. So it's going to be very difficult for anybody to take a Microsoft account and trying to make pseudo servers that are going to and resell the service. That's not going to happen. So unlike what happened with Bitcasa. So I think it's a safe move. And as I said yesterday with Ben, I said I think this is a brilliant move on Microsoft's part. I think it's going to get even more people to come over to the 365 arena. The pricing is they have. With 365 Home and Personal and University customers, the pricing is extremely small, and you're assured of having the latest version of Office. There's no more Office 2011, 2013. When you're using Office 365, because it's in the cloud, you know that you are using the latest, greatest version up to the moment of Microsoft Office. If they add a new feature, you get it. You don't have to wait till they come out with the next revision a year later.
Is that access through the browser?
Yeah. Well, basically, you everything when you go and use your Office 365. No, it doesn't go through the browser. I'm
saying like let's say you go to some other computer that isn't yours, doesn't have maybe doesn't have 365 already installed. Could you? Does it have like a really fast download?
No, it's not. It's not even installed. In other words,
So it is done through like the browser. It's like installed as you need it.
it's virtual. It's basically it's in the cloud. It's a cloud. So all the apps are in the cloud. So yeah.
Right, but
you just need your name and password. You just need your name and password, and that's it.
There is one problem with this Microsoft failed to account for.
Which is?
Hipsters write a lot of really terrible screenplays. So those can take up a lot of space. Microsoft might have to declutter the hipster nonsense.
I don't think
eventually.
So. I don't think so.
Oh, you'd be surprised, man.
By the way, continuing on this article, again from TechCrunch, it says, here's the key part. It says, moving forward, all Office 365 customers will get unlimited OneDrive storage at no additional cost. We've started rolling out this today to Office 365 Home, Personal, and University customers. For OneDrive for business customers, unlimited storage will be listed on the Office 365 roadmap in the coming days, and we will begin updating the first release customers in 2015, aligned with our promise to provide ample notification for significant service changes. And that's again from Microsoft. So right now they're starting only with the home, personal, and university.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, but the roadmap in 2015, then it'll go to business customers, and they'll do that.
I would be really surprised. I am willing to say they would not give unlimited document storage to companies. Are you kidding? I mean, two reasons. One, that's a lot of documents, and they might, that's a safe promise to say that no individual will have gigabytes of documents, but a company might. The other issue is privacy, right? Let's say they back up all of a company's documents, and then there's some type of breach in security. What about the liability for the intellectual property that might have been taken? I really don't see this being free. They might offer it to pay with waivers and such, but don't expect it to be free for businesses.
Well, obviously, Office 365 for business will be more pricey, but the thing is, the subscription model really, Office used to cost $400 a copy,
right?
And then there was a version that had the database version, which had Access, Microsoft Access, which was the database version component of Office. Not that many people used it, but there were several different versions of Office. And then at when they came out with the next version, you had to basically, at a slightly discounted rate, but you had to buy it again. The subscription-based model that Microsoft is using falls in line with how other companies like Adobe is doing it. You buy Photoshop now; it's all in the cloud. You don't have to worry about it. You have the latest version. When they tweak something, if there's a bug fix, you know that you're going to have it instantaneously. And people are using a Microsoft Office like this at like $99 a year. Compared to $390, $495 for this product. Remember that Microsoft Office has always been, a lot of people don't know this, Windows is not the cash cow for Microsoft. Office is the cash cow for Microsoft. Microsoft makes the vast majority of its money from selling Office products, the Microsoft Office product, not Windows. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also the international standard for document format.
Yeah, they really have it. They have it solidly entrenched. But now again,
here's the
$99 a year. It's a hell of a value. Yeah, go ahead.
That's the thing, though, right? If it used to be $400 and they come out with a new one every year, this is still a price drop in there, as you put it, cash cow. Do you think they might be experiencing a little bit of competition from some of the free alternatives that are actually really starting to improve in both appearance and functionality?
No, we talked about that yesterday. I still think that Microsoft Office is still. I mean, I know what you're talking about. The Open Office and
sure. But LibreOffice.
But still, it's not Office. And
that's right.
People ever will, but they reverse engineer it, and they're very good products, and they are free, and it's a good alternative. But if you want Office running, if you absolutely want Office and for all the benefits of Office and all the new features, because when they come up with a new feature, Aaron, in Office, it takes things like LibreOffice a long time.
Greg, come on now. Well, I mean, we can say, Office is great, but that doesn't mean that all innovation flows from Microsoft. You can have some of these free startups that also come up with great ideas, but I think what the consumer has to decide between is, functionality versus cost. Here's something that is incredible for $400, and here's something that's almost as good but free. And I think that's what they're trying to compete against.
Yeah,
they know they're better, but they're not free. And
well,
so
but, you know,
this is a way.
But if they come up with innovation, Aaron, and let's say in the free product
They're not the only innovator. I mean,
no, but I'm saying if they come up with something innovative in the free product, guess what isn't in Microsoft Office? It's not in Office. It's only in this free product you got, and therefore,
right. Which is competition.
Yeah, but you can't use it if you want to be compatible, because if you.
Well, that's not entirely true. Most of the, I mean, if it's a real new feature, then yeah, it's only going to be available in the latest document standard that came out with that version. However, you know, because there are so many different versions of Microsoft Office, right? I mean, let's go back in time: 2013, 2010, 2007, 2000. Yeah. You know, there's so many different. You can go back to XP, and well, those are operating systems, but with every iteration of Microsoft, you have this worry about backwards compatibility.
You have backwards compatibility with the latest version. It's only if you're using an earlier version that might not.
Not necessarily.
If you have an earlier version of Microsoft, and it was before DocX came out. .doc is it. Let's say you have DocX, and it was not when that version's not going to load it in.
Exactly. Try opening a DocX file with a Microsoft 2003.
No, it won't work. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So because of this backwards compatibility, most of their functionality as cross-compatible formatting, and that's something that other companies have taken advantage of. There's been court cases, particularly over in Europe, you know, because Microsoft is an American company. But over in Europe, you know, they're starting to offer a lot of these free alternatives, and they're actually catching on. And Microsoft would try to stymie the growth of these free alternatives by coming out with the latest features with a format that was no longer compatible, and they would break the compatibility with these free alternatives.
Hey.
Well,
Aaron,
there was
Yeah, I want to stop here because we have a caller. He called in the first hour, and I told him that he can come back because he has a technical question that Doodle, and so let's see if we can help him out. He's in Dallas, Texas. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hey, Dallas, what's up?
Hi, this is a Gunslinger from Dallas.
Hi, Gunslinger.
Yeah, I just have a simple computer question. I'm sure you guys know about it. I've got I'm operating XP, Windows XP.
Yep.
With Chrome for the browser.
Okay.
And in the what do you call it? Where all the processes and things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
The task manager.
Yes.
It has. I just counted it like a couple hours ago. It had like 16 or 17 Chrome EXEs. Is this normal for that many Chrome EXEs to appear in the task manager?
Have you ended the task? Use the task manager to end it and see if it still operates. It sounds to me. Are you using any antivirus or any malware on your XP system, Gunslinger?
I got AVG is antivirus.
AVG free?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still a pretty good one.
It good. Yeah.
Could be something. Just, you know, sometimes different ads will pop up with their own .exes. Go ahead and try closing out all of your Chrome windows and see if all those .exe files disappear, and then restart Chrome. If it's not really, and if they all go away and they all come back when you restart Chrome, it might just be if it's not affecting your system. I think it's fine. Do
you have any plugins on your copy of Chrome, Gunslinger?
I've got 2 or 3 plugins: a video editor and video downloader.
Okay.
Maybe 2
okay.
2 or 3.
Okay. I would just say check to see what plugins that you have as well. Any kind of toolbars? Do you have any of those nasty, awful toolbars installed, or is it clear of toolbars?
I'm pretty clear of toolbars.
Okay.
Does each exec, those ones that are listed, does it specify? I mean, is it associated with the plugins or whatever?
It could be. That's why I was asking. To see some of them. Sometimes they are. Again, Aaron's suggestion: if you use Task Manager to close them out while keeping Chrome running, and see if it affects the operational of Chrome. Worst case, your Chrome will stop working, and then you'll know. But if you can close them out
It'll stop working temporarily. When you
Yeah.
restart Chrome, it should restart those exe files if they're necessary.
Exactly.
Right.
That was my. I said use Task Manager, close them one at a time, and then just go to see if your Chrome still works with it. If your Chrome stops working, then obviously you need those, and just leave them alone.
Sure. And also, Chrome is a really easy piece of software to use, so it might even, if it's been a while, it might just be worth uninstalling Chrome, restarting your computer, and then reinstalling it fresh, and see if that fixes the clutter.
Okay, Gunslinger.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks so much for calling, and have a good day, evening. All right.
Sure.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You too.
All right. 347-884-8881 is the default number to call. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email live, Live, at computeramerica.com. We will certainly entertain your questions, and we'll try to help you when you call here on the show. Aaron and I are doing Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we're talking about Microsoft Office.
No, I want to pick a new story.
Well, let's just finish.
We've beaten that one so hard like a dead horse.
All right. Well, let's just finish it then, and just say that basically, again, that
I was right. You were wrong. That's right.
Office 365 accounts are unlimited. They're taking off the 1 terabyte cap, as you heard, and
Smart move.
Exactly, smart move. Okay, so now you want to take a different story?
Sure. I think you're really going to find this one interesting. Guess what San Francisco just made legal through law?
Airbnb.
Airbnb, that's right.
Yeah.
The mayor passed a law on Monday which officially legalized peer-to-peer home sharing. I think what they termed it is short-term rentals. So as well, Craig, maybe you should go ahead and explain what Airbnb is. You're a huge fan of the service.
We've actually invited Airbnb to come on the program, and we may get them on in the upcoming months. But basically, this is a service that allows you to advertise your home or a condo or apartment or any living quarters that you have, and rent them out, literally, on any given day. Thousands of rooms. Well, and Airbnb is global. I mean, if you have a spare room in your home and you want to make a little extra cash, you can advertise it up on Airbnb. You can put up photos, you kind of a description. Airbnb takes a 13% bite out of whatever it is you're adding, but that's how they make their money, because there are no ads on Airbnb other than Airbnb ads, and it allows you to. It's certainly better than the classifieds in your local area.
But I mean, what's the real draw for this service is, and I think you were telling me a little bit about the history of it previously. Whenever you've got certain events that just book every single hotel room in a city for a whole weekend, and people will pay anything to either scalp a hotel room. You say, hey, I got that extra bedroom. You've got rating systems on both ends, so you can show that you are a trusted renter, and these are trusted rentees.
Mm-hmm.
You can invite them in, and they find a place to stay to go to that convention or whatever it is they want to see. I mean, recently we saw something like that with Asheville, right?
Exactly. There's a couple of big events, and every hotel in the area was booked solid, and people,
events.
Yeah, exactly. So if you
colors.
if you have something that you again, an apartment or a room or a spare room or even your whole home, if you want to, you can do it. It's a great way to make extra cash and put it out to a global audience, because people all over the world are going to Airbnb to look at this site. So anyway, there are questionable legalities in certain parts of the world or the country that they're having problems. So according to
people making money in a residential area, it's a little
According to CNET, San Francisco mayor signs a landmark law making Airbnb legal. Tech-friendly Mayor Ed Lee approves bill that amends local zoning laws and legalizes short-term rentals. But it says, but not everyone is happy, and we'll tell you why. But again, that's what it is. It's legalizing short-term rentals, because that's what it is. I mean, you can rent your room out for a day, for 2 days, 3 days, a week, even a month if you want, but it's still considered short-term rentals. But evidently, and according to this story, thousands of rooms in San Francisco are offered on Airbnb on any given day, but they're not legal until today. So San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee signed on the dotted line yesterday and officially legalized peer-to-peer home sharing in the city, a practice that is touted through websites like Airbnb. In a statement, the governor said, the mayor said, now San Franciscans who just want to share their home with occasional visitors will have a clear set of rules and restrictions to earn extra money to make ends meet. Okay. San Francisco is one of the first cities in the world to make short-term rentals legal, but it's been a long road. Legislators have held countless meetings and forums over the past 2 years to hammer out the bill, which has faced opposition from a range of players, including hotel owners, affordable housing advocates, and landlords. Okay, we'll continue on with this. We're at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and on the IRN Radio Network. Aaron and I are doing Computer Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. We've got a brand new News Tips Bulletin Review from Marty Winston coming up. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less. 3 MyTV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This one might step a little bit on the spooky side because it's about a brand new LED pen light that shines in ultraviolet, the new Nightstick MTU 106. Street price, $23. 2 AAA cells power it for about 45 minutes. Now, here's why a UV light is fine. Fine, fun, frightening, all of that. Biologicals fluoresce, meaning if you go into a restroom and shine it at the sink or other facilities, the glow that you get back might scare you more than a little. If you go to a hotel room, to a restaurant, looking even at the menus, the glassware, the silverware, anywhere where the lights are dim, this light can make germs glow, microorganisms glow. And you know what? It's all pretty normal. We don't recommend that you use it to grade your host or hostess or your spouse, certainly not your spouse. But we do think that this kind of facility in your pocket is a really, really cool way to double check yourself. When you clean the sink, did you get it clean? When you're cleaning your cooking or food prep area, if you didn't get it clean, dim the overhead lights, bring out this pen light, and the places you missed will shine and glow right back at you. You'll find other reasons too. It's a little bit of that CSI effect with the MTU 106 ultraviolet LED pen light from Nightstick. Bottom line, it glows fantastically. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Yeah, 33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thanks for that News Test Bulletin review from Marty Winston. I got grossed out with the UV light. And why would you go into a restaurant or a public restroom and bring your UV light and shine it to look at the germs? I'm sorry.
I wonder if it's the right wavelength to give yourself a tan on the go.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know. If I'm in the public restroom, I don't want to know what germs are lurking there, unless it's Ebola. But
oh, Craig,
how do you really tell? You can't tell anyway. All right.
He's a paranoid.
Yeah. Anyway, Aaron and I are doing some computer technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. I sent you a couple of links for some other stories that.
That's okay.
Yeah, and so anyway, we're finishing.
I'll look at them.
We're finishing this story from Airbnb that they legalized. The mayor made short-term rentals legal in San Francisco. So that's.
If I may summarize, I was reading a little bit further in during the break,
and
it looks like we had said earlier that this was a little upsetting to some people, at the start of the article, and it looks like it's upsetting to people who rent apartments out or who rent anything out in the traditional way, which is you have to get a building and have it zoned for commercial use, and then you have to register, and it has to be checked out for certain specifications with the fire marshal and such. And this new method of renting out a home in a residential area to make money is completely going around all of these other barriers and safeguards that renters usually have to go through. And it's also not quite sure how something like this is going to be taxed because it's peer-to-peer, right? It's not like you have to declare it if you don't want to. So how is that being taxed?
Well, if you're going through Airbnb, we're assuming Airbnb is going to file the proper tax forms, and report it, when they get their 13%.
Right, but that's not the same as any applicable taxes for a residence for renting, and I'm not. Despite renting myself, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is I pay the renter, and the renter takes care of all that. But there is no renter in this Airbnb relationship. It's just you and someone else, and there's an exchange of money. And how does the government get involved? And that's.
Well, that's part of the thing, and then the other thing, of course, is not everybody's not happy, with this passing of this law in San Francisco. Inevitably, there's always going to be naysayers.
Sure.
U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein and the former mayor said that this new law was short-sighted because it destroyed the integrity of zoning throughout San Francisco.
Oh, poppycock.
Come on, exactly.
I think we should. That's the whole. They say that the advantage of having states is because they're like. Small laboratories of democracy. Well, so are cities in that sense. So I say let's let San Francisco try it, see if it really does turn it into a chaotic pit of renting, and then we'll know, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. But I don't think we should try to stop it from ever happening anywhere because we're afraid.
Be very afraid.
Let's have some courage.
Are you afraid?
I thought we took that soundboard away from you. God. I'll have to hide it better.
Yeah. Let's ask Carissa Green, our associate producer, what she thinks. All right.
That's what she thinks, actually.
It's Halloween. What the heck? This next story, I sent you the link for it, and we want to do it, is PC World Magazine, HTML5. Now, you are our...
Oh, that's right.
HTML5 has been finally finalized.
Yay.
Yes, finally.
It's been rolling out for a while now.
After nearly 8 years of work, the World Wide Web Consortium, that's the W3C, has finally finalized the HTML5 standard, bringing the basic web technology firmly into the era of mobile devices and cloud-driven rich internet applications. Finally. I mean, HTML5. I mean, with HTML5, you don't need Java, which is the curse of horrible. I hate it.
Watch your tongue.
Yes,
Do you have any idea what the Oracle company has done for the world?
Listen, I can't tell you how many times it blew up our chat room. It was horrible. Now we don't use Java anymore. We have our IRC chat room now, which we love.
Which is actually an older technology. Interesting.
Yeah, but there's less to mess up. And anyway, HTML5 brings the next generation of the web. I said the CEO of W3C. It wasn't so long ago that the web was about browsing static documents. Well, today's web is a much richer platform. It sure is. Yes, exactly. Although web and mobile developers have been using parts of the HTML5 specification for several years, the finished specification, which W3C calls a recommendation, ensures developers that the code they developed for the web will work going forward. See, okay? We're now at a stable state that everyone can build to the standard and be certain that it will be implemented in all browsers. If we didn't have complete interoperability, we wouldn't have OneWeb. Okay. Now, in 1989, physicist Tim Berners-Lee created the first version of HTML in a way to format and link together written materials so they could be accessed over the internet. In the years since, the resulting World Wide Web has become to serve billions of users all manner of content from movies and music to full-fledged applications. The HTML5 final recommendation, over 1,370 pages in length, addresses this complex environment.
See, HTML5 though, I really think it's done something new. Because if you talk about that first HTML and the next couple iterations of it, you still had to learn HTML programming to write a website.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. But HTML5, since it has a lot of these other features integrated within it, it gives you, one platform. It used to be if you want to build a website, you either had to learn HTML programming or you had to get some other piece of software that would help you with what you see is what you get.
Like the front page.
Right, exactly. Something to make it for you.
Or Dreamweaver. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. But with the new HTML5 and a lot of its features embedded, you get companies like, shall we say, Wix, that allows you to make a website from scratch using HTML5.
Yep.
And it's like having any of those other pieces of software directly in, and it's allowing the web to become more open. Anyone can build a website now. You don't have to be a programmer to contribute to it. And I think that's very
stellar.
It's really doing a lot to
Yeah, it is.
Democratize it.
And it's funny you mentioned Wix because you want to take a wild guess as to who our guest is going to be tomorrow night in the first hour. Think hard.
3 guesses.
Three. You got 3 guesses.
Okay. First one would be Charlie Chaplin.
No, not him.
No.
He's dead.
Okay. Spider-Man.
No, he's chasing the Sandman.
Want to go with Wix?
Yes, Wix.
Awesome. I knew it. I knew I'd get it.
I knew it. The third one was the Charm. Yes, Wix is going to be on with us tomorrow. We're looking forward to having them on. And for those of you who don't know, our Computer America website is completely made and designed by Wix. Aaron is our webmeister, all right? And he and Ben redesigned Wix. It's in our 2nd generation now of our website, but using Wix, completely using Wix.
And Craig can't touch it.
Huh?
And Craig can't touch it.
And I can't touch it.
And it gets all these goofy words.
I'm just the host of the show. What do I know? All right. So anyway,
it's complicated, Craig.
Exactly. The article goes on to say HTML5 provides a way to serve multimedia content and application functionality without relying on proprietary plugins to the browser. I hate those. Why? And it's right. It also addresses a wide range of other uses for the web, such as delivering scalable vector graphics, which are nice, and math annotations. In other words, so when you resize the window, everything, it doesn't get blocky or bit. It's smooth. Everything, a diagonal line will remain nice and smooth. You don't get these little steps appearing in it. Scalable vector graphics, very nice, and it does. HTML5 delivers scalable vector graphics. Today, HTML5 provides a write once, run anywhere, cross-platform alternative to writing applications for multiple mobile platforms, such as Android and Apple iOS devices. See, that was the big thing about the internet, Aaron. When it came out, it was supposed to be the unifying platform. It wouldn't matter if you used a Macintosh or a Windows or Linux, it was all supposed to work, and it didn't. If you didn't have, let's say, Internet Explorer, and you were accessing, let's say, a bank account.
Okay, Internet circa what time are you referring to? Because the internet in the 70s was an experiment and nothing more, and everyone knew it. Well, talking about like early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah, no, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's when it started to really explode to the general public.
Right.
And
exactly.
Yeah, it was. It very much was. I mean, that was like.
What was
the era of the browser wars and everything, wasn't it?
It was Before that was the ARPANET. That was a government thing. It was written.
Yeah.
It was written by the government because if we were under a nuclear attack, you basically. No. You couldn't destroy it because it was not centralized. That was the whole idea behind it. And
I actually heard a slightly different story. It's a little bit less dreary.
That's the truth.
Oh, well, far be it from me to disagree with the truth. Let's carry on. That's the truth for everyone who grew up in the Cold War era.
That's right, exactly.
How gloomy.
Uh-huh.
No, see, I had heard the internet was started by scientists who wanted to try to connect two of these newfangled computers. Computers were getting more powerful. But the next step was to take it to a more supra level where you could have two computers talk to each other, and then you could share communication really fast. You could have them do calculations for each other. It's if they drop the bomb, what are we going to do with society? It's more, what can we do with computers besides have them as isolated computing units, and that was have them talk to each other.
The other urban legend I heard is that the internet was started by
urban legend. That was the truth, sir.
It was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started the internet.
I thought it was Al Gore.
No, it was Turtles. Anyway,
it's come a long way. Regardless.
Yes, the W3C hopes the specification will be a cornerstone for future work in what it calls the open web platform, an even richer set of standards for building cross-platform vendor-neutral online applications. Moving forward, the W3C is developing specifications for real-time communications, electronic payments, and application development. Okay, so that's basically it. HTML5 is finalized finally, and
right away. Maybe 6 has already been in the works for 3 years.
And we're talking about the mobile web too. I mean, when you're using your smartphone, it's all HTML5 is the way to go, and that happened today. So I just thought we would mention.
Well, it says it's been happening for 8 years. It's finally 100%. Yeah.
Moves slowly. Ratifications. It's not only our laws that move slowly, but evidently our computing standards very slowly.
Yep. Gotta make sure it's happening. But hey, you know what doesn't happen? No, that still happens slowly.
What else happened?
Kind of a crass way to change topic. I'm not going to go that route. Guess what else happened? Let's try this approach. I'd like to pick the next news article. It's been on several different websites.
Is this the one about selfies getting you killed?
No, but that's interesting. Give me 30 seconds to talk about that. This really depresses me. They put out a story about how, hey, kids with great new cell phones that take incredible pictures, stop taking pictures with dangerous animals behind you. Because while you focus, that bear will maul you.
And this guy with he's got a backpack on, and he's making a funny face, and in the background is a black.
The bear's confused, like, huh?
Black bear, harmless. That little black bear is not going to hurt anybody. We have them in
who knows? If there's a cub in front of that guy, he's doomed.
Well, yeah, if there's a cub between him and the selfie, then he's doomed. But
does he look like he's very aware of his surroundings? He's looking at his phone, and there's a bear behind him. I'm going to guess he knows that bear's there, otherwise he wouldn't be taking the photo. There's a link in that story, actually. Apparently it's a real problem in New York City where... no, not bears. Men on dating websites are trying to spice up their photographs, and they are sneaking into tiger dens at the zoo and taking pictures cuddled up against tiger. And that tiger should wake up and find this strange person in their den. Which is, okay, let's be honest. This is, I love going to the zoo. I think it's great to see all the animals, and I have every faith that zookeepers take very good care of these animals.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a confined space. They're keeping a carnivorous beast.
And
you should not be sneaking into it to hang out with these animals.
If
It's
he's
just not
sleeping, if you're very quiet and you sneak up behind him, it's like how do you find a unique rabbit?
It's just unique up on them.
Unique up on them.
No, my faith in humanity sinks just a little when I see stories like this, because what does it do to improve the microprocessor, the portable battery, the wireless communication, only to give it to someone who's going to get themselves killed taking a picture of a bear?
If you are stupid enough to go into a zoo cage with a sleeping tiger, you deserve to get what you get. I'm sorry.
Okay, then that leads to this other point. Why did they post these stories up? Why not let nature run its course?
Because it's fun to talk about the people who got it.
Oh.
The person got eaten by the white tiger because they were trying to do a selfie.
Yeah. That's about all the time I wanted to spend on that story. The story I wanted to talk about was about, with the retirement of the Space Shuttle program, NASA has been trying to find alternatives to get stuff up into orbit, and food, clothing, research equipment, astronauts, anything you might want to put up there.
Okay.
They've gone to the private sector, and recently they announced that they contracted with 2 companies. One of them being SpaceX. I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk and a lot of the companies he does. Yeah. This other company, apparently it's Orbital Sciences. They had one of their shuttles lift off today with 5,000 pounds of food, supplies, and experiments for the International Space Station. And 6 seconds after it took off, it exploded.
I hope there was nobody living alive in that package.
No. It was unmanned. You're right. Let's be clear about this. It was unmanned. They're trying to figure out. They've already put together a committee to figure out what happened. But seeing as how there were 2 companies in competition, and this one just had a very nice fireball erupt on their launch pad.
That's my worry.
Interesting to see what SpaceX does.
That's my worry, because you don't have the government regulations. It's privately funded, and they're just trying to beat each other, and because of that, the heck with safety things.
That's not the very first Apollo mission killed 3 astronauts, and that was a government program. The first, I'm sure that I've seen so much footage. Like the first 20 rockets they ever tried to launch, they either went careening into the woods, which is why they did this out in the middle of nowhere, or they also exploded. It's just, this is what happens when you try to develop from scratch. And that's what a lot of these companies are doing, because NASA doesn't just open its vaults and say,
I thought that was a UFO. Okay, all right.
Gosh, no. But I mean, it's not just in America. I've been seeing other stories too about how China is doing big things, trying to put a human on the moon, put a Chinese astronaut on the moon.
We've already done
now,
that.
Well, it's a challenge, right? They haven't done it and they want to do it, but it also begs the question: could we do it again? Right? Going even a bit further, kicking off what some have called the Eastern Space Race, India wants to put an astronaut on Mars, just to one-up China, maybe?
That's the thing. We've done a number of stories. I mean, they want to send people to Mars with a one-way ticket. Now, can you?
No. This isn't the same. This isn't the same group of people. They don't want to set up a colony. They just want to put an astronaut there. I'd have to see that article again. But the fact that India says we want to go to Mars is,
So are they going to bring him back? They're going to.
I would think so.
Because I don't know. I mean, going to Mars one way. I can't imagine that. They're going to set up like about the first 7 people to Mars with one-way tickets. So what if somebody gets sick or they need help? They're doomed. I mean,
no, they're not.
Well,
why are they doomed?
Let's say you go to Mars and you have to have all of a sudden your appendix ruptures and you need to have your appendix out. And there's no doctor that'll take out your appendix. What are you going to do? Are you going to call up Domino's or something?
Maybe they're only going to send people that already have their appendix removed.
Well, yeah, but that's one example. I mean, there's medical science, so many things can go wrong with the human body.
I would think they would send a doctor. And it's not like we're going to lose all communication.
What if
It's not like we're sending them off to some remote island and we'll never hear from them again.
Yeah, are you kidding? Mars is as remote as it gets. But what if
we can talk to them?
What if
we have a rover walking around the planet right now sending us pictures every
What
day.
if they send a doctor and it's the doctor who gets sick?
Surgeon, heal thyself.
I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong with that. I mean, it's like, what could go wrong with this?
But look at the comparison of these two of these two types of stories. So many countries around the world are saying, we're going to go to the moon, we're going to go to Mars, we're going to go to Mars and live there, and America has its rocket exploding on the platform. And
not encouraging.
What we fall back on is, well, we've already done that, so why do it again? I think it's you know, I think we are primed for another, you know, takeoff into space. I think.
I say we invent warp drive and let the aliens come.
Hey, we should invent warp drive just because we want to go out there and go a step further. Why stop at Mars?
That's
you
right.
know, let's go somewhere even. I mean, that's what America's always been about, right? Is kind of pushing that frontier.
Yeah.
And for us to have a hard time getting off the planet while everyone else is dreaming big, that doesn't sound like us. And I really think in the next 5 or 10 years, once these private companies start to get their act together, we are going to see a real race. And you know, that's something that's always been touted, right? Is the American economy and the private sector is the real engine of this country, and all these other countries are still where we were 40, 50 years ago, where it's all set up by the government. And if we can get our private companies to, you know, sort of bring their innovation without all the red tape of a government program, maybe we could get somewhere really fast. But it is going to be brutal the first year.
I say we're wasting our time and money. I say we just wait for the UFOs to come, and then we can hitch a ride, you know, and that's it. I mean, you believe in UFOs, right? Say, I believe. Come on, I believe.
I'm not going to engage in this.
All right, well, but that's what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to get visited by terrestrials, and then we'll be able to take it, and then we won't have to go through all the agony of learning the technology because they'll just.
Are you a fan of Star Trek, Craig?
No, and we'll trade it. You know, we'll trade.
Are you a fan of Star Trek? That's a fair question.
I mean, I like Star Trek, but I'm just saying.
What was the plot?
We're seeing more and more UFOs visit here, and eventually we're gonna see them, and we'll just hitch a ride, and we don't have to develop all this technology. It'll all be done for us, and that's how we're gonna get out into space.
But what was the plot of Star Trek?
Mark my words, huh? What was the plot of Star Trek?
Well, it was history for a while, the history of Star Trek, but I think they did the Next Generation cast did a movie about it where. Basically, the UFOs didn't show up to share their knowledge until we did it first for ourselves.
All right. Well, that's the Star Trek mythos. I'm talking real life here. I'm talking about real UFOs.
You think they're just going to show up and give you anything you want?
Well, they'll want something in trade. You know.
Like what?
What? I don't know.
Human sacrifices.
Yeah, women. I don't know.
We should give it to them.
Exactly. You know.
Fair trade.
You know, to serve man. You know.
Oh wow, that sounds like a deal with the devil. What if they give you all the knowledge you want in exchange? You have to give them everything.
So I'm thinking all this
Your
space
soul.
is all going to get. It's going to fall by the wayside because we're going to get visited and we're going to meet the true space travelers, and then they'll lend us the technology and we'll use it and we'll build our own, and then we won't have to worry about things blowing up like this. You know, using fossil fuels to get us.
Hasn't that already happened though? I mean, Roswell, didn't we find a UFO, and how far did that get us?
Well, but they weren't friendly. We're going to find friendly ones coming. You know.
What do you mean they weren't? You mean you want them to show up and then show you how it works? It's not enough to have a spacecraft.
Mark my words, that's what's going to happen, Aaron.
What if it doesn't come with a manual, or the manual's in garbled Chinese?
We'll use
because they've already gone out there and come back, and we can't tell a UFO from a Chinese spaceship.
We'll use Google Translator. Google Translator.
Really?
Of course, yes, exactly.
Google Translator might actually work with alien languages. Yeah, it's that good.
Exactly. Hey, we're out of time here.
What?
Yes, we are.
No. Call up the Doodle and let's adjust this time zone and keep going.
Exactly. What do we got coming up tomorrow night? Let's see. We have Wix.
Gotta fire up the internets.
Yeah, Wix is going to be here. We're going to talk about some of their new. They've added a whole bunch of new features, and
that's in the first hour.
That's in the first hour. Wix.com.
Is not here.
Eric Mason's going to be on with us in the first hour talking about technology, and then of course in hour 2 we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by. No, it's not. We're going to have Dick DiBartolo. Excuse me. The Giz Wiz is going to be with us tomorrow night. Mad Magazine's maddest writer, is going to be joining us here. And we've got some interesting stories that we're going to be doing with him tomorrow. Well, let's see. What are some of the things that Dick is going to talk about?
If Ben is not here for the first hour, I would like to be there for that interview. I've had so much fun putting together the website using Wix. That's going to be a great interview.
Well, you can join us. We're going to talk about 3D scanners, not 3D printers, but 3D scanners. We're going to talk about something called free wheels that let you add remote control wheels to just about anything. These are some of the things that Dick's going to be talking about. A pumpkin power saw. A pumpkin power saw. So if you want to carve out your own jack-o'-lantern, it's a power saw designed for it. Also, we're talking about a voice changer and the Kodak Pix Pro action camera. Some of the things that Dick DeBartolo is going to be doing. He's a fun guy, and we're going to have a lot of fun with him tomorrow night. You really don't want to miss that show. In the meantime, thanks again for Doodle for being with us here in the first hour of the show. It was a lot of fun, and we'll have them back again soon. Aaron, I want to thank you for filling in for your brother. You're missing
brother.
All right, and find out where he was.
Do we ever really miss him?
We do sometimes. Anyway, that about wraps it up. So thank you for joining us. And so until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy.
That's all, folks.
We'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Aaron.
Good night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right. Thanks for bye.